This is gonna bring Z to drinking. That's how.
Oh gosh.
How bad this is gonna be.
I'm still good.
You
like,
all, no, you all built it up. You said that there was a new topic for us, so that is what we're going with. We're gonna have a moment.
Topic, we have news.
No, we're gonna have a moment of silence, and that's all that's gonna happen.
We're gonna have a moment of silence for the
we're
Keyforge
gonna mute
OP
you,
program.
and then we're gonna go to town.
We're gonna have a moment of silence for the Keyforge OP program.
We have a new shirt in the spreadshirt and everything.
I gotta make new business cards.
All right.
Oh, logo gone.
Too bad you already used the Doom counter.
I know.
Yeah, now just make it
Now let's see those smiles all around. Riding scooters through the park, getting home before it's dark. Comfy shoes and candy bars, playing tunes on my guitar. Swimsuit, summer dress, playing on the beach the best. Skim milk, white bread, done my homework weeks ahead.
Yeah, it's
Where's
gotta
the
be
disappointment counter?
That's in woe. That is straight woe.
All right, what's going on, everybody? I am the one, the only, the WOOKIE, joined here by What? We just screw up the intro. Thanks, whoever that was. But we got our resident PhD, Dr. Sheet.
Everything is awesome. Everything is cool when you're part of a team.
That's right. And we got Drazcor, also a member of the team.
Hey guys, how's it going?
We have the Ewokiest of Ewoks, Ewok Jr.
Hello, Keyforge community. Anything is better than American Airlines, so we're awesome tonight.
Well, we'll get into that in a little bit. You won't be flying American Airlines to any of them things. And we got Z.
Hey, I'm here.
Hey, but we got a little bit of news today, and that's going to take up a majority of the episode. Now, I'm just going to preface this, and I think it's completely and honestly fair.
Wait. You said we had a great topic, and everything's fine. So
we do. Which
we're
I'm gonna
good. Let's keep it moving.
Which I'm going to preface with, if you didn't like last week's episode,
was this the one that hasn't been released, or the one before that?
The one just from last week. The one that hasn't.
You're supposed to ask me about the news. You're not supposed to do it.
Well, hold on. The episode from last week's episode, because I've been kind of doing them on a week delay again. Will end up going up on Patreon because it's the only thing that'll accept it for whatever reason. Spreaker I get an error message every time I try to delete it. Tried multiple different ways, like little troubleshooting things, and it just wouldn't accept it. I don't know what I did wrong, but Patreon will. So if you do want to go listen to it, you can listen to it over there. We had a rousing talk about how I'm wrong and that there's not enough tokens in this game and we need more. So
yes, if you want to hear it as our peak of happiness.
We also predicted whether or not there would be regionals on this Patreon episode.
We did.
If you're interested in our predictions prior to today's news, which is currently March 23rd.
I don't remember. I remember. Well, I don't remember what everyone said. I remember. I don't think you're getting vault tours. So, and hey, but here we are. Let's go through the news real quick. Oh, and by the way, Z made a new shirt. Z did a thing. Yay!
I do things all the time.
Well, I mean,
yeah, we do have a new shirt and a new Discord channel logo. So stop by and check us out.
It is not symbolic at all of anything.
It's timely of.
We love the community.
But we got rebuilding of organized play. So we're going to run through the article real quick here.
Let me summarize it first.
Oh, go ahead, Sheep. I'm sorry. Sheep, do we have any?
Hey, Sheep, do we have any OP news?
Oh, my God. We've got great OP news for you. There is a 100% increase in events guaranteed since last year.
Wait, hold on. We're going to have 2 this year?
And they are going to continue to let you work from home. I mean, play from home. No need to go anywhere.
That is good. I do like the play from home model.
What does that mean, Sheep? That we get to play from home?
That means there's nothing.
Nobody wants to go to the stupid office, right?
So yes. Well, now you can read it. But there we go. There was my attempt to be positive.
There you go.
100% increase in events.
We got communication, boys. If that is not happy news, and they released it just for our podcast, regardless if that's there or not, I am appreciative that they released information. So thank you, GG, for that.
That is true. That is very true.
Wookiee's positive note of the day.
Yep.
Thank you for saying anything.
Ewok, I just hit your car. You're welcome for the news.
Thank you for running over my firstborn. I'm going to go to the doctor now. Speaking of, how is the sheepmobile?
Broken in the garage.
Okay, it's been a week. It's been a week.
All right. It's been quite a while since we at Ghost Galaxies talked about Keyforge organized play. We felt now was the time to revisit the conversation and update the community. So, 8 days away from when we're supposed to have nationals.
No.
Regionals.
Yeah, it's not
regionals,
nationals.
Sorry, not nationals, regionals. My apologies. We know many of you have been looking forward to an update on organized play and its schedule. Since the announcement at Keyforge Celebration, we've held many discussions both internally and with internal partners to figure out how to make them
external partners.
What did I say? Internal?
Yeah, internally and with external partners.
All right.
I'm not one of those partners.
Yeah, I was gonna say nobody had conversations with me to figure out how to make them the best events possible that you, the community, would be proud of. We understand some in the community have grown frustrated over the lack of updates from us on OP. These discussions and
guys, they hear us.
Yeah,
we understand some in the community have grown frustrated. They hear us, and I appreciate that.
Squeaky wheel always gets the grease. Come on now. But anyways,
you guys have a lot of grease, man. You have been slobbered on with grease.
These discussions and decisions take some time to have. We are a small team wearing many hats, working to get Keyforge and the Winds of Exchange set out into your hands. Rebuilding the OP scene and events takes a lot of time to get right.
I agree with that. I think that's spot on. I think that, again, they bit off more than they were anticipating. But yes, they're at least acknowledging it, and that's what I'd asked for before. So thank you. It is a lot. And having run Keyforge Live, there's a lot of time and energy and money put into it.
We hope to pass along more information on organized play by now, but much is still being worked on, like Storm to Gormagast. However, here is where things currently stand to help you all see the progress made. World Championships and invites.
Do you guys, but after that intro, because that's their intro, and you see 4 little paragraphs, I'll have to talk about my 4th graders.
Can we call those 4 to 6?
Well, technically they're spaced out, so yes, they're showing it as a paragraph. We talk about number of lines.
That last one's only
matter.
2 sentences. I don't know.
I understand some on there, but
they can't get woe out. There is no time to be grammatically correct.
Okay.
So they need to focus their efforts in important places.
Well, but I think that they acknowledge that they're a small team, that they have had internal and external discussions, and basically, yes, we as the community need to hear feedback. So I appreciate each of those. Those are separate ideas, so they are separate paragraphs. We get that. We hope to pass along organized play by now, but much is still being worked out. So they're acknowledging that, things are not made as much progress as they were hoping for. Do you guys... I've wanted communication up front. And I know that even individuals on our own team have different opinions on this. With this introduction, do you feel better that they're letting you know what we're about to get into? Or do you feel worse off? Just thumbs up, thumbs down. Where are we at real quick around the table?
Thumbs up. Good intro. Good intro.
Okay. Draz, good intro. Z?
Feel exactly how I felt before.
Ambiguous. Nothing has changed. Okay. Sheep.
Nope. Not feeling any better.
Not feeling any better. And Wookie.
I am in the middle.
Okay.
I am very Switzerland.
That is a range, and usually I would think Switzerland is more in the middle versus like.
I'm very in the middle to the point where I think I can understand you bit off more than you can chew. And I'm just going to go ahead and just put it out there and say it takes some balls to admit it, right?
Yeah,
It does.
I appreciate it.
So good on you on admitting it. However,
transparency is what I'm looking for. So I appreciate it.
However,
you want to get into the next bit?
Well, I'm just saying, like, back in November, when you put this whole thing and you showed, like, it's up on this nice, I don't know, whatever that is, slideshow or whatever you want to call it. I kind of thought you'd be further along at that point. And they weren't. So, it is, and again, it is what it is. I am much in the same camp of, I don't care when WoW gets delivered if I have nowhere to play it. That's like, it's giving me guns without a bullet, right? Both of them are useless without each other. So, World Championships and invites. Let's start with the end goal of our OP schedule. As previously stated, each OP season will end with the Keyforge World Championships held in Roseville, Minnesota in November to crown the best Keyforge player in the world. We are happy
Congrats,
we are happy to announce
players.
Did it say players? Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And Jason.
We are happy to announce that the event will take place November 10th through 12th, 2023 at our retail partner Game Center. Don't they own the Game Center?
Partner?
No.
No, I don't.
Ghost Galaxies does not own the Game Center.
Ghost Galaxy.
Right.
CTP, I believe, owns it, but those are different companies.
Or whatever it is. Okay. Located just a few steps away from our home office. Some of you may be familiar with this, as it is where the venue we previously held Keyforge Celebration 2022. Details and ticket information on Keyforge World Championships will come at a later date. Players wanting to...
I think that this was low-hanging fruit, but I appreciate it. Hey, here you go. Now you know the weekend. We kind of hypothesized that earlier.
That's a huge deal.
But that's what I'm saying is like having it. I'm saying it's a low-hanging fruit because it's more of their own space. So that should have been a really easy, like, hey guys, can we do this? Yes, let's block off this weekend. But I know there's more details that will go into it, but I appreciate it. We now know that weekend for sure. Go ahead, block it off. Awesome.
I went to put this date in my calendar, and I had actually already marked that as the date because there was no other like logical date range in November.
Again, we had looked at this and figured it out, but it's confirmed, which really does help. And that's why I say I appreciate that.
We'll get into that in a little bit because I have more words to say on that. But players wait.
What do you have? What do you have more to say? Then say it.
Well, when you say like, here's the date range, we also said we were going to have store championships.
We never had specific days, or specific rules for anything else. Here we've got like
stores were
dates.
Supposed to be in charge.
Yes, but but dates.
Yeah, go ahead, because I agree 100%.
Deliver this. That's much.
Now I can bring my torch and pitchfork.
Yes, now you can bring your torch and pitchfork.
Okay, so
but you can tell that this is now set up, and so in retrospect, they had a general outline, and it does bring a little bit of doubt for me. But seeing the individual dates here and what you're about to read for Gen Con for Nationals in the next paragraph, those are two setup dates, and those date periods tell us what weekend it is. Yes, we kind of figured it out ahead of time, but I love that is in print. It's even bolded for us, and that helps.
Players wanting to compete in the World Championship will need to qualify for their spot. You will qualify for a seat in the Archon and Alliance tournaments through a few methods. The first being winning a national championship held in various countries around the world. A reminder, the U.S. National will be held at Gen Con in Indianapolis on August 3rd to the 6th. You will need a Gen Con ticket to attend. The second will be through placing in the top 2 at one of 10 vault tours being held worldwide. We will also note additional ways to get into a world championships at a later date.
All right.
Does this
keep going?
Well,
go ahead.
Okay. A question we've heard from the no, because I want to.
Oh no, I'm saying for this paragraph, in my opinion, you have a clear date for Gen Con.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge win. We know that for U.S. Nationals. We'd figured it out. We can see through Arthur that had already been really hinted at, glared at. I think that those two sets of dates are huge. That means that if everything
are the two GG events, those have nothing to do with Arthur.
I understand, but I'm saying these two GG events are going to be run. You can see clear dates. You can see that they're going to be there. That's big. I think that there will be top 2 at each of the Vault Tours.
What Vault Tours? We haven't read the Vault Tour part yet.
But it said the second will be placing in the top 2 at one of the 10 Vault Tours being held worldwide. So they're telling you how to be able to get in. We'll also announce.
Read the next paragraph, Wookie.
Well, hold on. Does that mean there's only going to be 20,
announce, like
22 people that go?
No. That's
and
why I wanted
other ways.
Yeah,
and other ways.
And that's why I was trying to get to the last line. We will also announce additional ways. So there's going to be additional ways outside of just the top 2, which initially at the top 2, that's a very slim amount, let alone some of those individuals can place top 2 multiple vaults. So I like that they have, but
Three out of the 5 of us have earned that spot.
Well, hold on, because it's the top 2. They're going to have top 2 for Alliance, and they're going to have top 2 for Archon.
Yes.
They're going to
sealed
be different,
and
sealed, you're right.
Do not have any information on how the vault's going to be structured.
Yeah.
But continue.
We know nothing.
It kind of says it further on, but a question we've heard from the community is...
it does not.
I thought it did, but... A question we've heard from the community is, what happens to those that qualified for Keyforge World Championships in 2020? This event was to be run by Fantasy Flight Games at the time. As many of you know, this was set to be held in the fall of 2020, before the pandemic hit the world. While we understand how hard those of you who work to earn those invites, Ghost Galaxy decided we will not be honoring previous invites for our World Championship. Those with invites or past prizes that have not been fulfilled are directed to please contact info@fantasyflightgames.com with their situation.
What do you think the chances that those last couple of Vault Tour winners that did not get to use their travel voucher get to use their travel voucher now?
Oh, I'm never going to use it. It's not going to happen.
0.
Oh, you never used yours?
No.
Roll it up and smoke it, buddy.
I was going to. I drove to Albany. Right, I drove to Albany. Right, so I wasn't going to use it for that. I was planning a trip to Europe. I was going to use it to go to Europe and bring the family. Not obviously, I wasn't going to pay for that wasn't going to pay for all that, but it was going to pay for part of my ticket. Was the plan, but that didn't pan out. I almost pulled the trigger, but then the pandemic thing, thing in China was happening. I was like, you know what? Let me just see what's going to happen first.
Did you get to spend the shards you won? Did you spend them at Albany?
I spent some. I got a fuzzy Gruen for my kids. I got a playmat or 2. I got the, you know what? I did get the scarf, the Saurian scarf. I almost bought the sweater. I didn't. I really wish I had, having that Saurian sweater right now. Yeah, and that one, I've never even seen that one on eBay, the sweater.
I got one. I'll sell it to you.
Yeah? Oh, all right.
I think
I
Jupiter
just give it
has
to
too.
So I did get some stuff, but I still had a whole bunch afterwards.
Okay. I just you better contact
info@fantasyflightgames.com.
Yeah, I'm writing an email to them right now.
Let us know how it goes next week.
I was number 1 ranked player for 2 years.
You may know me from such podcast as Archon's Corner. Delete.
I am the king of Keyforge, and I want my crown.
We'll get you one of those Burger King crowns next time.
Burger King.
I'm the printable paper crown.
We'll just attach an Archon card to it in the front. We're good.
Smells like fries.
The Keyforge World Championship will feature a select number of the best players competing for a prize pool of $50,000 split across 2 tournaments, Archon and Alliance. The top players from each tournament will take home $12,000. Those who don't qualify for the World Championship tournament will still be able to attend with side events for all to enjoy.
Okay, so $50,000 top prize, great. $12,000 each. That's 24.
Well, right, yeah.
So that's $26,000 in prizes that's going to be distributed among the rest of the people.
My assumption would be
like that's a lot. Like that's a lot. Like is second place going to be $5,000 or $8,000 or something?
Well, no. I guess maybe I'm a little bit off in reading this, but the top player from each tournament, you're going to have Archon.
Yep.
You're going to have Sealed Archon, Alliance, and Alliance.
Oh no, I don't think there will be.
You don't think
World Sealed now?
Well, no? I don't know. But they again, it's not clear here. So,
but okay, because then
but then you would have 48 out of the 50.
Yeah,
that's all I was thinking.
And then second place gets $500.
Well, it says split across 2 tournaments, Archon and Alliance.
Yeah, right.
The Worlds is very clear. There are only 2. But that only leaves 13,000 to be distributed between 2nd and 8th. Like I could see that. That makes sense.
It's not terrible.
Well, why would they be paying top 8 when it looks like they're going to have a 20 to 32 player bracket? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they come up with, but
I mean, it makes even more sense if Top Cut's 16 or higher. They
gotta pay for appearances from the most popular podcasts.
So we're not getting anything again, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's exactly.
So Help from Future Self will be there.
Yeah, they'll be there. Yeah,
well, there are only 3 of us left, boys. So,
no, there's tons more. I went down this rabbit hole one day. There's lots of Keyforge podcasts, believe it or not.
Yeah, when I made my joke about definitely top 3, and then
and then all of a sudden,
and I listen to more than that. So
actually, you're right. There are at least 4 that I listen to right now. So I give you that.
We're not here to count podcasts again. What else we got? We got more articles.
I still don't like Alliance is like the other one. Like that's weird.
So they're heavy. They're sticking heavy with Alliance, which I really think is they're like, we already got the rest of you suckers in your money. I know people say I'm negative and whatever, but whatever. They already got me in my money, right? So they're like, how do we get all those other players back? And they talked to like 3 people who played the game for a year and went, I don't like that half my deck sucks, so I want to be able to put them together. But I don't actually play this game, so I don't actually understand how that's terrible. But they're like, well, hey, you might give us some more money, so we'll give it a try. Which, great for giving it a try, but I feel like they've gone. I mean, like they said, we're going, and they're going, right?
Well, if they're going to go, why not just do a full constructed at that point?
Because I think
that isn't Keyforge.
I think the pod scenario
isn't Alliance. I think we're trying to allure not Keyforge players into the game.
Yes,
it makes sense.
Yes.
It's a very, very different game. If you're
Let's take our round peg and stuff it in the triangle hole.
No, I mean there are some individuals who really do enjoy Alliance. It's just not this.
Yeah, there was a whole poll on Facebook. It was a whole 9% or whatever.
Yeah, but if you look at how many people total went ahead.
Only 11 people voted. So
yeah, that's not a large amount. So.
Just because
11 people voted for Alliance.
Just because
if 11 was 8%, that means you had 120, 130, which is all that showed up at the event at Worlds, right? It's in line with that, and only 11% of them say they actually.
Now, to be fair, out of those 130, 30 of them were Sheep and his dummy accounts. So
no, I mean I will tell you that I voted on there. You get 1 vote. You do have a choice.
Yeah, but Sheep has.
That's not going to be your top choice.
He's got 1 real one, and then he's got 29 dummy accounts.
How the hell do you think I have dummy accounts?
I don't know. This is the story I made up, and I'm sticking with it.
Okay. All right.
He's speculating again.
I'm doing that whole speculating thing.
I got you. This supports your narrative.
Yeah,
all that matters. Yeah,
that's right.
I'm okay with this now.
Yeah, see?
So here's my question. If you only feel that 1/10, I can see Jugger, why does Alliance have the same payouts as Archon when maybe 1/10 of the players will play it? So again, thank you for being in the AC live chat. Does that change your opinion and you would be willing to go ahead and jump in at Alliance versus standard Archon? Well, Z, you feel very confident with where yours.
You Z. God.
No, but, so I think this is important.
Point
Z,
is valid.
No, I think that everyone around the table matters, but Z, I do feel that your deck collection, your place, is pretty rooted in Archon. But I think that if we're looking at your
actually
decks,
makes him more likely to
Stronger
win
in Alliance.
Alliance.
I get this idea for
This isn't an idea; it's fact.
But yeah, like from my perspective, I would have equal chance in either event, and I prefer to play Archon. Is my answer.
But and that's why I'm looking at it. So knowing that you're playing Archon and other individuals like you are also choosing to lean towards Archon, does that mean that others might be more inclined to go into Alliance? Just hypothetical, but
see what showed up for Alliance at Celebrations?
I do. I also saw.
But that's the thing. Most of the people didn't, Sheep. Like, it will get people to join it, and that is the point we're talking about. And to Ewok's point, yes, there will be a bunch of people that go play Alliance and get absolutely crushed, and that's fine. They were going to get crushed in Archon too.
Yeah. Okay. You're not wrong.
Wow, pompous.
I mean, that's what we're talking about here, right? Like, people
there is a
that their decks have enough quality to go to Archon. The same fact is true about Alliance. The same thing will happen. It really just comes down to preference, which is what I based my answer on. My deck collection is fine for either format. My preference is Archon. Yes. The same thing is going to happen to all of these players, whether they're joining A or B.
So I'm curious to see how the Vault Tours are going to shape up with Alliance versus Archon.
They're all Alliance.
I don't think that they're going to be all Alliance.
I think they're all going to have both.
I agree. I think they're going to be both. I'm curious if they're run simultaneously, if that helps us with numbers. But again, this is all theory conjecture. So again, going around, Sheep, where are you going?
I mean, I am in the boat where I can hopefully borrow a deck that I think can play an Archon. But this game has a big problem where it suffers that Archon and Alliance top level stuff is not cheap or easy to come by, right? It's not. This game has become less and less new player friendly for top level competitive events, which is why SASCAP and silly formats have such a big following, because it does take away owning a really good deck as being a major factor. So I really think the real future of this game for biggest events at conventions and stuff is going to be sealed. And they need to do
a long time ago.
Better job of supporting that, because that is where everybody can compete reasonably well.
And we talked about this when we ran Keyforge Live. Like, I was adamant that we have to run a sealed event, because if you look at the actual vault attendance across the iterations of every vault we had, the sealed attendance on average was significantly higher than everything else, because it is more accessible to all players compared to everything else.
Yep.
And
you always feel like you got a chance showing up.
And I do like the new Alliance form of sealed. Whether it's true or not, Sheep, I do feel like you'd feel like at least you have more agency and ownership of your choices. And
you certainly have more agency.
Yeah. And it feels a lot more engaging to me. I was having a discussion today, actually, like on the Discord with someone. Like, if AOA had Alliance sealed back in the day, I would not have boycotted the single vault that I did not go to in America, because it is at least more engaging and more fun to play, even if the set sucks, as far as sets go.
So you would rather take Alliance sealed versus 3-deck Archon, or 3-deck sealed?
Yeah, my preference for Worlds would be Archon as one choice, and 3-deck sealed Alliance as the second choice. And I think that is what the poll showed on Arthur's new site when people were voting. Like, sealed Alliance actually has a higher vote than Archon, which is like traditional Keyforge. It is the highest ranked. It was like, I don't know the percentage. I don't want to misquote them because I might be speculating. But I do know that Archon sealed, like the sealed alliance version, was the highest voted of them, and I think that tells a lot. Like, it is engaging, it is fun to play, and pretty much anyone can be a part of it, regardless of collection.
Yes, the sealed alliance is just also not new player friendly, so it's going to be something that with the promised and non-delivered Vault Keepers of January, you can't always run sealed alliance if you want to attract new players because it is brutal.
Yeah,
Sealed alliance is not favorable to new players. Like that is an issue that we will have continually.
I thought it was interesting in the AC Live chat, Southerly, they're trying to reach that player base that Coda had, which is larger than the current community many times over. Alliance, in their opinion, addresses the shortcomings which caused many of those players to leave as future sets got released. I hear this statement. It was in regards to Joker. Why does Alliance have the same payout? But the end response, in my opinion, is that we're trying to reach for this untapped player base or to pull back players who are there. I think that ship has really, really sailed. I don't see this as a major source of individuals coming into the game. And maybe I'm just very, very short-sighted. I do think that it allows you to use a few extra decks. But frankly, I see when we're talking about deck selection, you're pulling best of the best pods. You're pulling very, very elite selected pods. I think that Alliance is a fun format to play when it is a local group that you know everyone and you're just playing around and having fun. Carving out some different decks for fun is very different from top level Alliance, which is what I'm a little bit scared of and worried about, because it is just that next level elite. To have your enhancements landing in the right pod or certain card combinations, which is individuals who have much larger deck collection. But
I mean, like, this is less known data, but we used to be the podcast that actually like gave real information. But so if you want like real information about like top level alliance, it is actually more pay to win than any other form of competitive Keyforge there is.
yes,
You can, like, we are on a very competitive team. You can go out and find a combination of pods and spend a certain amount of money to get those decks and construct a very expensive, very good deck that can immediately put you in a competitive field. So if you want to do that, it is actually easier to buy decks like that than it is to buy an Archon deck, because people just don't sell really good Archon decks that often, and it's normally done through back channels and whispers. People know them or they know a friend of them. Like, top end Archon decks are much, much more rare to achieve on the market, whereas you can go out and find this pod plus this pod plus this pod equals money win. So, I mean, that is a thing. So,
but
like, if you would like,
it's not cheaper than that single Archon deck, really.
no,
Right.
What I'm saying is not. It's definitely not. Like, I'm saying, it is super expensive, but it is actually attainable through money. Those other decks you can't buy because they're not being sold.
they're not being sold.
Like, I'm not going to sell Galaxy. You know, Nova's not selling Jacques. Dave's not selling Caruso. Like, these things are not going to be sold. Like, but if you want to go this plus this plus this equals, I don't know, $1,500. If you want to drop $1,500 with a chance to win 12,000, that is a very real thing. Like, you can do that. So that is something that you could attempt to do as real information from the AC podcast, if that is what you want to try to do.
All right.
Do you
So
think
the
it'll-
question. Go ahead, Jazz.
Do you think it'll stay that way, or do you think those pods will become known too? And
Yeah.
Because of the sheer iterations, and assuming, you know, what was going to come out, we all believe that. We have no reason not to. It won't be possible for it to be like known like a deck is. Like, there's not ever. Well, I don't think SAS in its current form will ever be able to do that for a person in an easy way, right? Like the highest SAS pod is not the best SAS pod, and it won't be. So no,
But
I don't think.
in a world where Alliance is here to stay and people like it, and you know, there's winners, Vault Tour winners, national winners, so on and so forth with Alliance pods.
Theoretically, in the future, I think someone would potentially design something that would help people because you're talking about 3 times the amount of information,
Right.
which is an exponential with the amount of decks you can make. Like, it would have to be something much, much more clever than SAS. And SAS is pretty damn clever. Like, so if it is made, hey, maybe ChatGPT will write a program that will figure out.
You're right. I should ask ChatGPT. What am I thinking?
Yeah. Just ask them. Ask
Just let
the
us
AI
ball
to
out and
figure
just
it out.
build decks.
But by the way, that is why this podcast is all set up for today. We're good. We're just reading a script.
Yes.
Yes.
In fact, none of us
So-
are actually here right now.
I know
Correct.
watching sales early on, there were a lot of what I'm going to call B plus tier alliance decks listed, maybe sold, right?
Uh-huh.
But when it comes down to it, like if you don't have A plus in all 3 of your spots,
But that's
it's like owning a good 85 SAS deck for Archon. Like, yeah, it's good. It'll probably crush locals. Might even, do well at a regional.
That's still not the ones I was talking about, though. But
like the true
you
top
could go
end
out.
stuff.
Yeah, if you want to spend $500 per deck, you
Well,
can actually go out and buy a top
even
alliance
some of these
deck.
B tier stuff, they wanted $300-400 bucks a deck, and they weren't truly good
And you
enough.
have to be smart about it. But I think I'm fairly confident for $1,500, I could go buy a deck that could compete with our team. And our team has like 3 or 4 of the best alliance decks that I am aware of currently. But like again, that's if you want to do that.
So that gets us back. Drazgor. Where's your thoughts? We heard Z. We heard Sheep.
I'm sorry. My wife.
We've lost topic.
And
which one do you want to play, Archon or Alliance at Worlds?
I mean, I definitely play Archon. I mean, if Sealed's not an option, I would play Sealed first, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, Sealed.
Sealed
would always be my or the one I
that's a
know
valid
I can
question
go
for Sheep too. If your choice, Sheep, was between Archon and Sealed Alliance at Worlds, which one would you pick? Assuming you got 3 decks in the Sealed Alliance.
I'm making an awful face.
It's a hard choice for you though, right? Like it becomes a real decision.
No, it's Archon.
Okay.
I'm especially at those stakes.
But didn't you just say that would be more of a balanced field? Like it would become like your card knowledge, your deck building at that moment. I know you hate that term.
And luck.
Yeah,
luck.
It's
even Archon has luck.
Archon definitely. They are all like that's part of why.
Yes.
I love Keyforge and love it even at the competitive level it is because sadly I can lean a little bit on luck to cover up for a skill gap sometimes. And that's fine. And if you told me 3-deck Alliance or 3-deck Arc, 3-deck Sealed or Archon, I would tell you 3-deck Sealed.
That's what I said.
No, you said 3-deck Alliance.
No, I meant to say 3-deck Sealed Alliance.
Yeah,
versus
Sealed
Archon.
Alliance.
So you're saying
you put that Alliance back in.
Oh, you would rather it just be 3-deck Sealed. Ugh,
Just 3-deck Sealed.
I would
I
prefer
know
the
you
Sealed
don't
Alliance.
agree with me, but I have had multiple poor experiences now with Sealed Alliance. I don't like it.
So unfortunately, the feedback that we received from some Sealed Alliance, and again, the data set is not high enough.
No, it's definitely not.
But from what run, if you end up with 2 bad decks, you still have 2 bad decks.
That's the same thing with the pool of 3.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
But when you have 2 bad decks and 2 bad deck or bad deck A plus bad deck B still equals bad deck, now you've been given that agency. You're supposed to have this agency so it equals out the field. And then you sit down and play your first game and like your best deck you built using SAS, which is by no means perfect and not meaningful, but the best I could do was a 62 and you built a 78 and you just beat me 3 keys to 0.
See, I've had the opposite experience on two occasions.
Feel great about this.
I took 2 mediocre to poor decks, and I won against someone that pulled an 85 once, and I won against someone that pulled an 87. I won both of those sealed alliance, and they just played the deck that they opened.
Listen, playing against X-Ray is not a good.
He doesn't play against X-Ray.
No, this was like in-person live event.
But when you were at that in-person live event, was the skill level were these individuals newer? Was this people who had?
They're all everyone knows how to play the game. Yeah.
Okay, but they knew how to play the game.
Sealed is a wonky thing, and I have won many nights on our AC Sealeds with 8 to 12 players with 50 SAS AOA decks because I have C and I got E, and A doesn't even matter in Sealed. Sealed using straight SAS is kind of meaningless. That's what I was saying. Yeah. SAS is not good for Sealed, especially. But I'm saying that does happen where it doesn't. You open 2 decks, and it really doesn't matter because they are actually not good things. They don't have anything cohesive going on. It doesn't matter how you shuffle them together. They're bad, right?
And it also comes down to matchups. I mean, we even heard a recent story coming from Zach for his 5 OVs, and then, it was successful in day 1 with Amber Rush. Again, who you play matters. So those lines, I think that's where some of the luck comes in. And that's why I love Keyforge, because one day, hopefully, I will get lucky and be able to have a nice streak to be able to run. I've done it primes, but again, anything higher, it would be nice to be able to see that longer streak. So, yeah. Wookie, you're my next.
For what?
The question exists. Are you going to be playing Archon?
I'll be playing. I'll be playing in a side event.
I got no dreams of getting there.
Well, but I think it's different for each of you. I mean, I hate to say this, but Z, Drescore, and Sheep, you guys are on a team. You have a larger collection to be able to pull from. So when Wookie and I are looking at this, it changes.
Well, I mean, I guess the question is, Wookie, are you going to go to Worlds if you don't earn a seat at the table? Do you go to Worlds at all?
No.
Well, doesn't that totally depend on what their side events are? Because if their side events are the equivalent of what they ran at Celebrations, yeah, it's good for everybody. If their side events are like, hey, we're going to do some sealed pods, woohoo, you don't care. It
totally depends on guys, find somebody to play with and just sit down.
There's not anywhere near enough information on if it's worth going to Worlds or not.
Correct. It's way too early. I will say from the article, Rebuilding of Organized Play, that last line, those who don't qualify for the World Championship Tournament will still be able to attend with side events for all to enjoy. So it's there, but again, we don't have nearly enough information. So I was curious.
When it comes down to it, it's always sealed for me, no matter whether it's Sealed Alliance or 3 deck, pick one, whatever, sealed. It's always sealed. Right. I'm not a part of Team SAS, so I don't own any of the best decks in the world. And when it comes down to it, I hate to tell you, everyone wants to fight me on this. Your player skill don't mean jack shit if you're not rocking that, whatever SAS deck that's good.
I think there is a range.
No, I could be the best player in the world and come with a very mediocre deck. I am not beating the best decks in the world because
but you're comparing
pack the tools.
Yes, but what you're talking about is mediocre versus top tier, and that's not what I'm talking about.
That's what Archon is, though. That is mediocre versus top tier. There's going to be a bunch of people bringing mediocre. There's going to be a few more bringing B+ decks, and then there's going to be a few who brought all automatic rifles. And if I'm using a 9mm, I might as well just head for the hills now.
So I used to play the woman who has the alley. I managed to somehow, through some luck and whatnot, got it to second in a vault, and somebody having to go home early, which lets me get farther than I probably should have. That deck, even in Z's or Nova's hands, or anybody who's won a vault tour in their hands, they ain't making it to day 2. It would be stupid luck, right?
Yeah. Right now, no.
Not a chance in hell. And that deck used to be really good.
The deck quality, because of all of the sales, the amount of time we've actually just lulled over has vastly improved because of no one's had anything other to do than just to farm what is potentially the best in the sets that we have. So when you're going to a top end event, you really are seeing a very curated top end until we get an infusion of a lot more product, which WoW should do. We're all hoping it will actually affect the meta again. So there is some talk about that potentially being different when in the future. But right now, I agree with what Wookie is saying. Like, if you're not going to show up with a very competitive deck, you're probably not.
If you
making
ain't
top
showing
cut.
up to the dance dressed to kill, you might as well wear sweatpants and a t-shirt.
So
See and
If
sealed,
I-
guys.
if I if I
See you in
stunk it
second
up
ember.
this season and you guys were still going to Worlds, I would go to Worlds and play side events.
I will go no matter what. Like, if I don't make
I'm
worlds,
fine,
I
yeah.
will still go hang out with the team. Say hi to the AC crew, and have a good time. But like, I do hope that they consider that fact and actually have a lot of things available to everyone that doesn't make worlds, because very few people, based on the way we see the tournament structure, are going to make worlds.
Didn't they say they were thinking Worlds in the future was going to be a smaller, more intimate event?
They did say that at KFC.
I mean, we're going to give each other back rubs.
Ooh.
I mean, it's already a pretty small, intimate community. People
Yeah.
share
Talking.
rooms.
All right, let's get into the problem with regionals. Our initial vision of organized play saw a step structure using regionals, nationals, and world championship. This plan looked at each of these events as large-scale events where players from neighboring cities and states would travel to. This meant running a limited number of regionals in each country, depending on size. We posted an interest form back in late January to seek out those wanting to organize these events. We received a lot of applications back, which we want to quickly say thank you, and we greatly appreciate those that sent one in. After looking through the application, we began discussing with a small group of applicants to gauge viability in running these events. During our discussions, some concerns began to formulate around regionals and the value they bring to both player and tournament organizers who would run them. These concerns stemmed around the need of such an event and why a player would want to attend. Some feedback given to us pointed at the prize of a bye at the national championships as not being a strong enough pull for a player to travel for. This is especially true when a player could still attend a national regardless of the competing at a regional. The further we discussed this feedback internally, the more it became apparent many might opt to do just that. This would hurt RTO's ability to put on a worthwhile tournament for players, so we began to look at what alternative prizing we could offer without impeding on our vision of the worlds, or vision for worlds. Despite numerous discussion and ideas, we ultimately could not come up with reasonable pricing and ensure success for our potential regional TOs. This led to making the tough decision to remove regional events from our OP vision. This decision did not come lightly, but we feel is the right one. With the removal of regionals from OP plans, we already began working on restructuring the pricing that would be offered with store championships in 2024. This will see the removal of the winners getting a bye for winning a store championship, but we drafted up a number of initial ideas we think are great. We will be working to finalize the pricing over the next several months and ahead of 2024 organized play.
Okay.
Go ahead,
Does
Chief.
anybody have something positive to say? Okay, so let's get to the negative.
I do. I told you so. I called it. I fucking called it.
Okay, like
They
couldn't figure out a prize. Like okay. I know we've talked about prizes on this show a few times and spitballed ideas, right? Like, it's not that hard according to us. I mean, like, I talk to some of our community members pretty often, and like, having a prize that has value is very meaningful to them because it can potentially help offset the costs of playing this game. That doesn't mean squat to me. But that apparently does mean something to other players, which is great. And they can't come up with anything. Does this not just say, like, we would like to pay $0 for prizes? Yeah, nobody wants to play for $0.
I mean, that's what I read.
$0 for prizes. Oh, how about we like give them $0? Now this is me being really pissy and pessimistic, but like, really, we couldn't figure out anything, so we decided no tournament is the correct solution. You know what?
I think
No
what confused me the most about this is the placement of the regionals. Like, they said something about like regionals being a big thing, right? Like a bigger than what primes were. Like, why? Like, I think the prime was the way they were.
What are you looking for?
Where's my drink?
Slash prime thing wasn't something that I would be going from Texas more than one state over to go to. Like, we drove a little bit for one prime, but like, you were looking at 20 to 40 people. It didn't need to be big. That way, like, it could be at a store, held in one day. People come together from, up to 4 to 5 miles away. You play the event all in one day, and you go about
Prime
your way.
should be a 2-hour drive.
Yeah, like even that. Like, that's my point. Like, why would they want something that is more than that? That seems like people would want to travel for. At that point, isn't it just the vault?
Yeah, like are they so invested in this cash prize, this $12,000 prize at the end of this very long road, right? In theory, like if they did their thing.
Well, after you do your taxes,
and then you got your national buy, and then you're finally at Worlds. One person wins $12,000, and like I've talked about this several times. Like, cash prizing is actually a negative incentive to me in this game.
But here's the thing.
It's not why I play this.
This plan looked at each of these events as large-scale events where players from neighboring cities and states would travel to. Like, we already cut store championships. Like, if we had smaller, more plentiful regionals, I think throughout, let's say, April to May to June, leading up to the Vault or Nationals, like, all of us and all of our whining and moaning or whatever would have immediately went away. Like, okay, my store is going to have a regional for, Dallas, Houston, Austin, or whatever. Like, Loca Car Store could have a regional for you guys up there. Chicago would have one. St. Louis would have one. Like this would have gotten people excited. And you don't actually need, if that's the venue, if it's at a store with the players in the community, that's actually much easier to put on, and you don't need a big prize draw for that. Like,
but you do need some prize to get people who want to pay money to be there.
FFG gave away the World's Invite for winning a prize.
There was more.
There was a lot of stuff.
There was a lot of other stuff. Yes, like there was a kit. The people like the Nizik mat. The people like the top 8 Reaper mat. That was a fan favorite.
Well, but there was 8 for the 8. You had the small keys.
Small keys. People love those. There's 2
premium sets of key tracker, medium premium key trackers, acrylic tokens.
A bunch of those, the stun tokens. And then the winner got the Dominator Bubble, Nizik mat, and the Invite to Worlds.
Yeah.
Basically, if it was just that without the Invite to Worlds, that would have been fine. I understand they probably don't have that product right now, but like they have a printer. Just put like regional 23 with the rest of the algorithm filling that for the top 8.
And just put CTP's face on it with a thumbs up, like in a Fonzie pose.
So again, this is theory, and so I know I'll be slammed from our Discord.
Yeah, we got no facts here, guys. Because there's no fucking facts.
The end result. Let me finish. No, what you're looking at is the time frame that regionals needed to fall. They're stuck in this conundrum of, if you're sending out product to stores to give away, but you haven't fulfilled your Game Found campaign yet, it causes frustration from many individuals.
Is that really going to... But you're not giving out WoW decks for regionals. You're giving out boxes, which you can easily explain as I third-party sourced these.
But again, they're a very small team that they're trying to set up this event.
Anything,
incorrect. So they're doing everything internal, and that takes away time that people will complain about of why did you go ahead and do that to support the organized play system versus going ahead and making sure the game found campaign
is anybody complaining about not getting their WoW decks?
I'm sure somebody is.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sure people are.
Are most of the complaints stemming from I have nowhere to play these hundreds and hundreds of decks that I own?
Well, that's definitely where our complaining comes from. Yeah. I think my big frustration with this thing, and we still haven't even finished this article yet, is as a tournament organizer, I now have absolutely nothing to do. Nothing. There's not a single GG supported event that I can spend time on. If I owned a store and I did want to try to support this game, there's nothing. There's nothing even to look. There's 2 events to look forward to at this time. Even after the 2 events, and you get to the next part where it says we have plans. There are 5 vault tours. Here they are, and here are their dates. We haven't even got there because we haven't got there, but they have plans. So there are 2 actual events I know I'm going to play Keyforge at this year. And I can't even count on there being store level regional. And they could have renamed it. They can be like, hey, you know what, guys? Our plan to give out invites for regionals, not realistic. We couldn't come up with a prize that we could have printed in the time frame we wanted regionals. So we're going to have whatever they want to rename it to, leave it named regionals, be like, but we're shifting them to the later part of the year when we can hopefully have something done. Which maybe, apparently with their resources, what they have available, they don't think they can have anything done this year. But now we're at the point that there's just, unless you want to pay a bunch and go to a big traveling event, there is no Keyforge. There is no local Keyforge for you this year. As far as we can tell, your only choices are to spend a bunch of money and travel. Because that's going to draw in players.
I know there was a big complaint when Keyforge Celebration was held that it was another event essentially in the Midwest. You have Gen Con again falling in Indiana and now Minnesota for our Worlds. The Worlds is going to be a small invite list. I know our player base is dwindling, but when you're talking, hey, you have 2 events, I realistically can attend Gen Con. I don't feel that with my deck selection and where I'm at, that I honestly stand a chance to go ahead and compete for Worlds. So I'm only really looking at 1 event for the year. So, you got to keep that in mind. There is a large percentage, but there's a large percentage of individuals that are going to fall more in that realm than falling into essentially 20, 40 people, 80 people that are going to be there at Worlds. I think that's scary.
I think we have got into a problem here, which brings us to where we're sad, is Celebrations was really awesome. There was a really big hype up ramp. We are all so already invested in this game. We are ready to go. We don't need any more prep. We don't need any more decks even. We just need a reason to get people together and play. And we're not going to get it this year, really. Right? It's not going to happen. The timing isn't there. And it's just very disappointing because we are very, very ready. And not everybody, not all of our listeners are as single-minded about playing this game as most of us are as far as our competitive card gaming world goes. This is it. There's a reason we're doing a podcast on this, because this really is it for us. This is our game, and we are so ready to do something with this game that isn't just us doing what we've done with this game for 3 years now, 2 years, however many years of us doing what we're doing, that we are so ready for something.
Anything.
And that's why we put on live. We were willing to do that that was over a year ago.
Yeah, well, and multiple people from this podcast have been in direct contact with people from Ghost Galaxy saying, we're ready to do live style something again. We are, look at all the experience or all the stuff I have regarding organized play or things that I've done. I'm willing to try to help figure out how to get this somewhere that is successful. And I've never been talked to. really. Like, and I'm not saying like they need to talk to me, but when they keep saying, they always say this, and our trusted advisors or our outside partners, and I'm like, who the hell are these outside partners that clearly are not getting anywhere near what I think the goal should be?
All right, JM. I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. So JM says he's complaining about Wodex because that's the only prizing that he could possibly use for his local events in the absence of OP kits. If they released an OP kit, right? Would you then be like, hey, like, well, I guess again what Ewok said, would you be like, well, that's taking time away from my Wodex? That's my question. That's all. With something new and cool or recycled okay, so if it was recycled FFG stuff, would you be okay with it? Or does it have to be something new and cool?
So
I guess my question is, right now, anything is anything. And again, I'm in the same boat as Sheep. Well, I'm in the same boat as you. WoW is irrelevant if there's nowhere to play it.
Yes, and here is some old prize kit stuff. It's very appreciated. It helped us supposedly bridge the gap between December and January, February, when we thought we were going to be doing stuff. That's not the reality we live in anymore, right? We're not doing stuff. We're not doing stuff now in March. We're not going to do stuff in April. We're not doing stuff in May.
June?
Or
Are we
June.
doing stuff in June? No.
Well, okay,
July?
maybe somewhere in there, Wodex deliver, right? Somewhere in there, Wodex deliver, and that's something. But until then, like, how many more events of
Tune in again in June when we resume the podcast.
No, but I think late May, June for delivery is realistic, in that they're stuck in this conundrum, guys. We've gone through this for multiple weeks. Nothing new is there. But I will just say, going back to regionals, in my opinion...
What conundrum, though? What's the conundrum?
The conundrum is that they make no money by selling old product that's not theirs.
Oh,
and so we need...
boo-hoo. Cry
no.
You took on
they are
this
a company.
game knowing But you took on this game knowing you could not tell me that they came into this game not knowing full well of where it stood and what was happening.
It does not matter.
It does matter.
Why doesn't it matter, JR? But why? Why doesn't it matter?
Because they are a company first and foremost. And if you don't realize that, they're a company that needs to be able to go ahead
that you knew was probably going to lose you money for a year or two. You took on this project full well knowing you bought it. You made a handshake deal with whoever it is you make a handshake deal with at FFG, or I'm not even who owns FFG. Or owned them at the time. Asmodee. You knew this was going to happen. You knew the position you stood in. You got up in front of a stage of 200 people and told them, here is our plan, right? This is our game plan. If you got a third party source it and sink some money into it, then that's what you have to do.
But they made the choice that they're not going to sink it into a third party. And then when you're talking on the other side, you're talking to a very, very eclectic group of individuals who are high-level competitive.
That's all you have. I hate to tell you that is all you have. Those are the whales. Those are the people sinking in money. Z is the person sinking money into this game. You're the person sinking money into this game.
Long-term, Wookie, that's who is sinking in. But I'm going to tell...
long-term means nothing if you don't have a game you can sell today.
Right now, they went ahead and they have plenty of backers worldwide that went ahead and committed, and they have that.
I still don't know how you guys think that these numbers are big enough to support a game. Like, they're barely big enough to be a game.
But that's where right now they have individuals to be able to maintain until they can get their product out. They don't have the relationship with the stores. FFG, frankly, tanked all of that. They have to build that infrastructure back. And I will tell you that while it's not what I want to hear, I was very hopeful for what we are going to see for our OP schedule, it's not realistic. Until there's new product, we just aren't seeing anything. And that
what
is,
if
in my
there's
opinion,
no new product till 2024?
Then, in my opinion, that what they're going to do is you're not going to see anything until 2024. I think that you're going to go ahead and show up for your Gen Con, for your Nationals, and for your Worlds. We know that we have been depleting individuals, that we've been losing some hardcore individuals. But the end result is You have enough hardcore people who are going to come back when the game returns because they love it that much. And you have a lot of individuals in the medium that are just playing other games and are there again because their Game Found campaign will give them decks. And when it comes back, I just don't think that they care from a business. They care. They really do care about us. But I don't think. I think that business
of unopened WoW decks on the secondary market almost immediately.
That I disagree.
At pennies on the dollar. I do. I fully feel it.
I disagree on that.
That is false. That is not true.
Yeah, nobody bought enough that they're gonna turn them. I think.
I'm not saying they're turning them for a profit. I think a lot of people back the Game Found as very there is people out there who are very casual players, right? It's over.
And they're gonna open their decks. No, they're casual players. They're gonna open them and play them like they were gonna do anyways.
Correct.
So
I think when you look at regionals and primes that are here, what they missed is our community has been the foundation of what's held us together through this pandemic. Playing online, going ahead and meeting up through our Discord, again, playing on Sunday nights. We have groups that are getting together, playing TTS just because, hey, this is the way that we can play WoW right now. I think that was a huge incentive for people getting together for the old primes and would have been for regionals. Maybe I'm missing what they were really looking for. And I had this vision of primes being the new regionals, and they wanted a much larger endeavor. And that's what Z was talking about earlier. I would have much rather preferred, hey, here's our regionals. We've had multiple stores that reached out. We want to run this, but it really does come across. It comes across cheap when you are saying they're not willing to invest in the prize support.
Well, I think
I want to be with my friends and play Keyforge like Celebration was.
Yeah, so I feel like the OP program that we're kind of being pitched right now, what they were trying to do is based a little bit on Pro Tour sort of thing, right? There's Pro Tour qualifiers and then whatever, and it all leads up to the big cash prize, and like that's a thing, right? That's like a thing that everybody who plays Magic kind of dreams they're going to go play on the Pro Tour, and most people know they're never going to. And Magic sells most of their packs at stores to people who are playing in Friday Night Magic and never dream of the Pro Tour, because the Pro Tour is played by people who only open singles and kind of play Magic professionally. Like, they sit there and think about decks. They spend tons and tons of time on it, right? That's what that's about. And the money isn't there. This isn't Pro Tour money, but that's kind of like what it feels like the structure was like. All we need is a big pile of cash, and people will come and play the game to win the pile of cash. And I think that's total hogwash. And hopefully, we
saw that ID fail with Arden Saga. Arden Saga, their very first big tournament, they put like $100,000 on the line. They went belly up mighty quick because cash didn't do it. Z, when you started playing FAB, why do people go to the big FAB events?
There's a bunch of reasons. I listed them a long time ago, but one was money, one was the foils, one people like the art.
But why do people want the foils and the alternate art?
Because it's worth something on the secondary market, because they add they increase the value with their IP. Yeah,
that's big not necessarily cash prizes. That's reasonable prizes you can get and make some money off of, which is what I was saying. We came up with a bunch of prizes that we thought might do that through the way of printing special decks and special, I went to special stuff.
Well, two big events. In both events, I won enough stuff that I sold that not only did I pay for my entire event, we made profit. It was just off of different things we won off of the price wall.
But how much? So that's not the point of where we're going right now at all.
No, it's not. But
well, you asked the question.
I did.
So I will say in the AC live chat, JML, I need a reason for people to show up, period. Going ahead, and that is 100% true. We cannot attract any old people, let alone new people, if there's no product and nothing to be able to give away. You can see some ideas there. Hey, Bumblebird plushies, Blora plushies, Fish Token plushies.
Are too expensive.
I can't get
plushies.
I understand.
One free Archons Corner Mails review calendar.
No. I do think that the decks offer another option that's there. I don't need the deck sealed. You can put them all in a big giant Ziploc bag. But those are things that we're looking at. I do want to say Joker's comment because I think it is very relevant here. And it's not on prizes, but having a game be focused in such a small geographical area and no supporting regionals to coincide with the relaunch of the game is a mistake. And I got to be honest, I'm in the Midwest. I love that it's within drive distance for Gen Con and for Worlds, but I have to agree that there are some large scenes out there.
Well,
and
get
by
ready for Origins
missing
too,
the
'cause that's
region,
gonna be another one.
And we can hypothesize where those vaults are, but I really do hope that, well, maybe we read the last paragraph because there's good news of a 5th vault that's coming, but hopefully they're spread out because there are some regional areas that have.
We beat the regional news to death. The regional news sucks.
Yeah.
Come back to
rough.
us in June. See you then. Next
All right.
topic.
2023 Vault Tours. This leads us to Vault Tours. We've been working hard to finalize our TOs, secure the location and venue space, and pick out dates. We made a lot of progress with these in the United States, but still working to do so internationally. Our plan for 2023 still includes 10 Vault Tours, but we've made a slight change. 2023 Vault Tours will now include 5 in the US and 5 internationally. We aren't ready.
Hey, I think I said that on a show like 4 weeks ago.
Maybe. We aren't ready to announce location or dates for these just yet, but are hoping to do so in the near future. We appreciate the passion you all carry for Keyforge. We understand the wait has been long, and we are doing everything we can to end the wait soon. Store OP kits are still being worked on, and we'll pass along information on those when available. We hope you'll understand and ask for your patience as we continue to bring back the greatest unique deck game the world has ever seen.
Yep.
The plan.
I mean,
we plan for store change.
All right. So, in theme of last week, the one that they would have to actually go to Patreon to hear, Sheep. Will there be Vault in 2023?
Yes, but not 5 in the US.
Wookie.
I agree with Sheep. Yes, but there will not be 5.
So we think that they will manage. So actually, let's go back to Sheep. If not 5, how many?
3 or 4.
All right, Wookie. If not 5, how many?
I was gonna say my gut says 3.
Okay. Drascore, will there be Vault in 2023?
I think they will all occur after the launch of WoW. And so the number of vaults will depend
Does it have to all be before Worlds? Because you got to invite the Worlds.
Nope. I don't know if they have to be.
But you got to invite 2 Worlds.
I know, but I'm saying
that's why you show up.
I'm saying that I think they're gonna say we need to have WoW out, which with their strategy, they basically do. And
Maybe
so
I need to pivot on Drascore's question. Drascore, would there be Worlds in 2023?
There will.
Okay.
There will. Yeah.
No.
But they'll change. They left open the criteria as to how to get there, right?
Yep.
So we'll see that in effect. And so I think they will. I think we'll see 5. I think they'll work really hard to get those 5.
And you're saying that one of them might be after,
I think we see early December.
Up in your neck. Right?
Yeah, I'm ready for it. Bring it on.
I had a blast. I can go lose to you on top table again. That sounds fun. JR, will there be 5 vaults this year?
The answer is yes. I am the optimistic one, and I see that we will have 5 vaults, and that's their line in the sand. They're going to be there. I honestly feel.
Hold on, we got to talk about the gray area real quick. So when we say 5 vaults, do we mean 5 different locations? Because if they run
just 5
5 different destination vault events is what we're talking about.
I was gonna say, because if they say you got an Archon, Alliance, and then sealed Alliance, and then sealed regular, that's 5. That's 4 right there.
I'm gonna tell you that there's 5. I do think that you're looking at packs or something that is after the initial release date. The time frame is just too quick to be able to turn around 5 vaults in that time in the US. I do feel bad for all of our international friends who, frankly, their vaults have been cut down. They didn't have access to Keyforge Celebration as easily as we did. I mean, yes, we had
That's
one
not true.
friend
You
who
drove
came
that
over,
one kid from the Netherlands back to his Airbnb.
but it was a lot larger challenge to be able to make it to the States here. And so you saw a much higher amount of individuals from the States who were participating. And that's what I'm trying to say. So knowing that we had access to WoW, I agree with Draskor. I think that the events will not start happening until you actually have WoW that is released. I anticipate that will be late May, June, and that is going to coincide with our vaults that are here. I still think that some of them are going to be sealed. And I think that makes sense for Ghost Galaxy. But that is my
I want to. Can I have
optimism,
one
and I'm
sealed
sitting
DB?
here for 5.
Could you imagine qualifying for Alliance Archon by playing Alliance Sealed? And like being and that's it. You've played, like you own like 100 decks.
No, I think that they're
now I'm qualified for Alliance or for
I would hope
Alliance
if you
Archon.
get a World Invite, you can choose to play whatever you want. All right, so it's my turn to answer my own question.
Yes.
We've hinted at who we think may be hosting the vaults. I have utmost faith in his capacity to do this. So I think all 5 vaults will be run prior to World, and I think he'll do a great job. So I have complete confidence in that person to pull it off. So that's my thought as far as the vaults go.
Okay, so I think the biggest fail we may have had coming into this was Ghost Galaxy not buying the mass mutation stock from Asmodee. If they had bought all those decks at $1 a piece, that's what we paid for them. If they bought,
they would have made a ton of money
and had product to sell and run events, right? Like them letting that go at $1 a piece may be what ultimately murdered us, because it flooded the market with a bunch of cheap crap, and now everybody was already bulking at $13 a deck, and people even bulk at me selling decks at $8 because they can buy them for $1.
Yep.
Like, so that I think that was a major fumble, right? Like if they'd had all the $1 decks.
Well, to be fair, we also don't know what their we don't know what terms they carved out with Asmodee. They could have been like, oh, no, we're selling what we got left.
They certainly could, and they certainly, being across the street, could have been the first person to buy them all for $1.
Yeah. Like what Sheep is saying, they saw the post at $1. Like they could have just bought them all.
I guess.
It's not a guess.
Well,
everyone could have done that. I could have bought every single one of them.
There's a reason I have, and I wish I had more money and had more faith. I have 2 cases of $1 decks bought totally with the intent of reselling them at a profit, right? And I am doing that, and I ain't even making the profit I could off of them because I don't care that much. I'm using them in my sealed events, and people can get them for $8 a piece. But like,
and even that is a discount.
You can't buy MM boxes for under. Yeah, you can't buy MM boxes hardly on the secondary now for under $80. You can't find a Worlds Collide or a Dark Tidings box to buy. Like, it's getting tougher. Like they should have bought it.
Like Mass Mutations is the only product I think is actually because we're about to have to pay $12 to $13 per WoW deck. Mass Mutations is the only deck I think would be worth buying at that price prior to WoW coming out. So like even selling them at $8, I think is a discount for anyone that's buying them. They are worth more than that.
I mean, they could have bought them at $1, sold them to stores for $3 or $2, made money, and been like, hey, stores, you can sell them for $5 and be like, hey, come check out the game at a reduced price. Or you could try to sell them for $10 and make a bunch of money. And now stores are all of a sudden like, But there has to be the events to go with them. The reason stores didn't buy a ton of them at $1 is because there was nothing to do with them. Like they would have bought them at $1, they would have put them on their shelf for $2 and hoped they sold in the clearance bin, which isn't great, right? There had to have been the events and the future, and the fact that I'm buying these and playing these for WoW to come forward in the future. Didn't happen, right? And now we're in this position where we're in, and where we're saying they have no reason to do anything because they have nothing to sell. And it's because we bought it all for $1.
You could have gone ahead and put it with future attachment. Here you get your MM for this price with your future investment in WoW that you're getting this amount of decks.
Yeah, that's never gonna sell.
You can go ahead. Well, but
that'll sell to us. That'll sell to an individual customer, but a game store is, I think, very unlikely to be like, I'm going to commit dollars to you now in any contractual binding on a game that I don't know what's going on with. Like that's it. They could have done like, hey, buy them now, and this gives you access to this many WoW boxes when it comes out. They could have tried something like that. I don't know if it works, but yeah, they could have done something where it says it gave you access, but definitely couldn't have been a contractual thing where it's like, you must buy MM to buy WoW.
No, I was saying, anyway, it's over.
Hey, win a tournament, get an MM box. Did you win your store championships? Oh, sorry, just me.
Well, I think that underselling the fact of the community and being able to get together, that's a great prize that's there. I do think that the mats, decks, those are all options, little tokens. I know they didn't want to go ahead and go third party, but those all would have been great ways to be able to connect. So I know that I'm not part of that initial team, that trusted team, but I do feel it was a missed event. It's tough because I think that your regionals, you really do want to be running. Many of the primes that I played in were sealed. They were not Archon. And again, this is what drives people. But if there's no product, there's nothing for the stores to give away. Unfortunately, there's still a number of stores who have a ton of product or product that's just sitting, but it's sitting at $8 or $10. And it's sad for those stores.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us this week, unless anybody has any last little bits to get in.
I think we beat the article to death.
I do. Okay. So, as grumpy as we are still playing a lot of Keyforge. Still, best card game. Still the reason we are here talking and wanting this game to be more than it is currently, right? That's what we're here. Because we want more. We want to play this game. And we are still playing. So I'm still running sealed on Sunday nights. And because some people aren't comfortable with spending money on this game right now, which I can understand, but still want to play, I now have the option to play free on sealed night. It means you're playing from my box of shame. I'm going to reach into this box of shame next to me of decks that are scanned, but not in my decks of Keyforge profile. And you can play one of them in sealed. Close enough to real sealed for what we're doing. So you can do that on Sunday nights. Play with us sealed for free. Our friend of the show, Hiram Graph, is going to pick up Archon on Tuesday nights again. So Tuesday nights, come find us on Archon's Corner for actual Archon events. You can find his channel and more about it there. And
thank you, Hiram Graph.
Lokacar is running his sealed nights still. True sealed decks. All open on camera and all that good stuff with entry fees and the awesome prize wall. If you didn't get any of those awesome prizes that they did release in the past from FFG, you can still get them, a lot of them through him. So there are still lots of reasons to be playing this game, along with ABR signups, NFKL season 506.
ABR signup is available and open right now.
Yeah, come play ABR with us.
Yeah, there are still lots of good reasons to be playing Keyforge. We're just hoping in our near future we have a reason to go play with our friends locally.
Yep. And I also want to reinforce that communication's good. We got communication. Obviously not all the stuff we wanted to hear, but this is way better than no communication. So yay, communication.
Quit kissing ass. That's not we aren't that.
Hey, Dratscore, I just hit your car.
Hey, back up and continue to hit my K, but I'm going to tell you I appreciate the GG staff. I know it's small, and I will continue to build them up because I appreciate what's happening. It may not be what I wanted to see, but they're working, and they're doing the best they can.
All right, with that being said, thank you all for listening this week. We're all going to share one positive thing about our week this week. Ready, Dan? Go ahead.
I pooped.
Dan pooped. Drascore, one positive from you this week.
It was my youngest daughter's birthday this week.
All right. JR, what's your positive from this week?
As a teacher, I am gifted with time off that I look forward to spending with my family. Coming up this Friday, I'm heading out to California. And so I am blessed to be able to have that time.
Senior Z? Did we lose Z?
Release.
Oh.
You hear me? Oh,
Yeah, I got you.
I released my update article for episode 1 of my D&D campaign. I write articles, a story basically based on each of our games. So I updated that today and posted it for my crew. Had fun with that. Hopefully they enjoyed the article.
All right. And with that being... What?
I said,
Yeah.
sweet.
Oh.
Wookie, did you have something good?
No.
No, you need to share. That is part of
Hey,
our circle.
You're here with us.
No, I had a day off today, kind of.
I mean, that's good.
I only
Did
got...
you poop? Because that's apparently good, according to sheep.
Well, I mean, we all know about my colon.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't want to ask
So,
about your butt health again.
Thanks for thanks for bringing that back up. So
We started with snow this morning here in Wisconsin, and it was 40 plus degrees by the end of the day, and the snow was melted. So that's a huge blessing. We have our health.
That's just weather.
We're alive. We're able to speak and play a game that we love, whether it is to the full extent or not. I had food. I had a meal today.
So from now on, I'm just going to let JR do my talking for me. Seems fair, right? That's going to do it for us this week, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see y'all next week.
Happy Forge, everybody.
May the forge be with you.